Hello, boys and girls. Yes, Nicko McBrain back with you for part 3 of my extravagant BDC tour of my drum set. Now, let's see, we've done 1 and 2. Obviously, if we're doing 3, this time I have a very extra special guest, a very dear friend of mine and a wonderful sound engineer, Mr. Kenneth Pooch Van Druten is going to be joining me in a little while, and we're going to go over all the miking of this wonderful drum set. Obviously, you lot want to know how he gets the great sound that he does. He makes me sound so good, doesn't he? And so we're going to have a little tour of the microphones and a little bit of fun on the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, boys and girls, we shall get on with it. So here we are, just getting ready to go up and do the microphone introduction with Pooch. Follow me, and I'll give you a little guided tour of my little domain, right behind this here curtain, right behind curtain number 1, boys and girls. Oh, look, we got Charlie.
Hey up.
Hey up. So this is where Charlie obviously sits when I'm playing, keeps an eye on me. He throws out a few insults and laughs and giggles when I mess up. I nearly swore then. But he's got some spare sticks. That I've got a big stick bag, loads of sticks in, but he's got some sticks there. He usually has bottles of water ready, don't you, mate? Yeah. Wristbands for at the end of the evening when I throw some wristbands out sometimes. At the very end of Iron Maiden when we go out, and I'll come back and say, Charlie, I've got no wrist. Yeah, he says he sticks a couple on for me. So this is our little domain here. So before the show starts, I come out, and then Doctor's running. Charlie will be. You know, he goes back to my little practice kits, putting that down. So sometimes he's not sitting here when I actually arrive. And I sit here, and I'm like, he daren't come in sometimes. It's really pretty bad. But no, so I'm sitting there, and my ritual is I say a prayer, and he gives me a couple of minutes while Doctor's running on my own. And then we get ready, Doctor finishes, then the intro tape starts of the Senjutsu intro. And I'll stand up, and sometimes I grab this bar up here. I've got a bar here. No, not that kind of bar, boys and girls, a metal bar. And I'll do some stretches, get my back, help my back stretch out. Then we got the intro, so then Charlie opens the curtain. If I can find the he has trouble with this sometimes. Go up here, take my flips off, then I'll sit down and get ready for the intro. So yeah, this is our little world, isn't it, mate? Yep. And the same, once the encore's finished, I'll come back and I'll sit down with Charlie, and we're waiting for the audience to, calm down a bit, because they usually go a bit crazy at the end of Maiden. And then I wait with Charlie, and then the backdrop comes across with Trooper on. And that's when I take the stage again. Same thing, take my flips off, get on the kit, and off we go. So, no further ado, let's get on with meeting Ken. Yes, magic of television, boys and girls. Now I'm behind my drum, editing and all that lovely. Ryan behind the camera there does his magic for us. Anyway, here I am behind my beautiful BDC drum set, which you have been introduced prior to this part 3 episode. It gives me great pleasure and an honour to introduce to you my very dear friend, Ken Pooch Van Druten. Hello, mate.
How are you, mate?
Oh, I'm fine. Hey, hugs first of all.
Love this guy.
Oh, gosh. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've had a lot of people asking me, what are you going to do in, part 3 about the miking of your drum set? Well, here it is. This is the man that we worked together. When did we first start talking?
2017?
2017, yeah. And Ken and I, we talked about how we were going to mic my drum set. And I basically said to Ken, it's your tapestry. I'll just tune it up, do what I do, and you take it from there. He said, you got any preference to what particular microphones you use? I said, absolutely not. That is your tapestry. So please, Ken, over to you, mate, and he will introduce you to our wonderful microphones on this drum set.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, as you said, Nick, you gave me full reign, which is, sometimes that's unusual. A lot of drummers don't do that, and I really appreciate it. I felt the that was a great opportunity to make sure that you sounded as best you could. And so anyway, we made some choices, and let's see. Let's start with the kick drum, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the kick drum, inside the kick drum, because it's double-headed, you know, some drummers have these hole cut out where you can stick a mic stand into it.
Yes.
There's a Randall May system in there, and what it is a microphone that is suspended in the kick drum. And it's an SM91. It's actually two microphones, an SM91 and an Beta 52. Both of those microphones kind of make up your giant kick drum sound.
Beautiful, yeah.
And the Randall May system suspends it in the middle of that and kind of keeps the mics from any sort of vibration, you know, happening. And that kind of thing.
Those two are Shure microphones, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Two
So we
Shure
have the two
microphones.
Shures in the kick drum.
Yes.
The 91's a plate microphone. It's like
It's a boundary microphone. So the way a boundary microphone works is if you set it on something, it uses the area around the microphone to be a pickup of the information.
Lovely.
So by putting it into the center of the kick drum, a little bit low down there, you get the shell as part of the microphone. So yeah, it's a great microphone. I use it a lot. It's great.
Yeah, and I'm very happy that it was an opportunity to do, you know, to be able to use these two microphones with, as Pooch was saying, we don't have a hole cut in the front because we have this amazing artwork on the bass drum art itself. So having a hole in would have been a little bit detrimental to the visual of the.
Yeah.
So it was really purely visual. This wasn't an exercise for sound for us as much. It was when I said to Pooch, "Can we do this?" You know, he said, "Absolutely." He said, "We can suspend with the 91 and the 52
Beta
instead,
52.
Beta 52." So you know, and it certainly does sound pretty good. So
Sure does.
Very happy there.
Yeah.
So moving on,
Let's go snare drum.
Snare. Oh.
Look at that snare
Oh,
drum.
lovely.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have top and bottom on the snare.
We
don't
do, and two different microphones, which is a little unusual. Some people like having the same microphone on top and
Yeah.
bottom. I prefer to have this M81. This is a Telefunken M81 SH. SH means short.
Yep.
So it's a little
Here's a
short
little
baby,
stubby,
so
yep.
it fits, stubby, it fits in there. And it has a little bit of a bump in the high end to get that crack that I need out of the top of your snare drum, you know. And then in the bottom part of that is a good old Shure SM57.
Oh, the old go-to.
The old go-to
microphones,
microphone.
baby. You know, listen, in the old days, that was it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty
You know,
much.
you use them for vocals, in front of the speakers, on the drum
Overheads,
set,
everywhere. Yeah, I
overheads,
know. Yeah.
Still one of the greatest microphones, I think, that were ever made. You know?
I think it's the most classic microphone for live sound, been around forever.
Lovely. So that's the snare drum.
That's the snare drum.
Moving on to the tom-toms, yeah? Do the tom-toms?
Sure, we can do the toms. So
Yep.
all of the toms, you know, of course, you don't want to have stands blocking all your awesome artwork.
Yeah.
And it just would get really cluttered up here if they
Yes.
had stands. So I had to make a microphone choice that would clip onto the tom itself and not cause any sort of acoustic change to the tom, you know.
Yeah.
So we went with these microphones. They're called DPA 4099s. They're quite an expensive microphone, actually.
Only the best for you know who.
And how many do we have?
Well, let's talk about the 6 and 8. We split the 6 and 8 here. I don't play them that much in the set for two reasons. Well, one really is because I'm an old git, and it takes an awful lot of effort to turn around. And in the old days, I could literally just play it and do it. But I don't really play the hallowed. I give them a good doing. The 6,
sure
8,
do.
10, and 6, 8, 10, 12 get the clobbering. So we decided to just put the one microphone on, not primarily because they're very high cut. They got high top note. They cut out very, you know, they project. So that one little microphone will
Picks them
picks
both
the,
up
the,
very
the,
well. Yeah.
Then down through the tom-toms, we have individually mic'd. Each one's got its own microphone.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
And Yeah, and what's great about these microphones in particular is that they capture, you know, a higher tom very well as a floor tom,
Yes,
for example.
yeah.
You'll notice it's the same microphone on all of the toms.
Mm-hmm.
They're a really great full-range microphone. They're a Danish company, and they use that microphone for all kinds of things. I mean, even like violinists and that kind of stuff would use that microphone.
They're that small and
Yeah.
that light.
Yep.
And the actual attachment
Yes.
is a lightweight, hard. I guess it's a very hard polyurethane.
It is, yeah.
Plastic. So it's not super heavy.
Right.
So you know, I should think perhaps the most heavy part of it would be the cabling.
That's
where the leads go to. So
That's
it's
it.
and the great thing is that they don't actually move when you're hitting the drums. These clamps are very
They're very
robust,
strong,
aren't
very
they?
well
Yeah.
built.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great microphone on toms.
Yeah.
Happy to have that going on. And then also a DPA microphone is on your hi-hat.
Oh yes,
Also
I nearly forgot about the.
you don't want to forget about the hi-hat.
No, that's very important.
We
So
chose.
what we got here?
It's a DPA 2011. So
2011.
same company as for the toms. Also very expensive microphone.
I give it a clobbering the other day.
Yes. Yeah, we have to really watch. If you notice where the placement is, we have to really watch when Nicko
Yeah.
nails his hi-hat.
Yeah,
sometimes it
comes up
gets
and
up
kicks it.
into the
does,
microphone.
yeah.
So we have to be super careful about the placement.
Yeah, and the reason that happens is sometimes what happens is on the cymbal clutch, boys and girls, we're going to move back to drum talk for a sec. Sometimes on the cymbal clutch, what happens is the locking nuts on the two felt, there's a felt underneath. I could take it off and show you. So, see, you've got to be careful. I could have knocked that mic right. But so here's the lock under here, and then you've got two felts. And sometimes what happens is it creeps down. So the tension of the
Gets loose.
cymbal
Yeah.
gets loose. So when I do a slot, a P super, I call it,
Yeah.
and you crack it and it's open, this thing can actually ride higher. And that's when this poor old microphone gets a block. And
Gets a
Ken's out
blocking.
front going, and he is this, what's that? Who was that? No, it wasn't me passing wind, boys and girls. So, you know, that's sometimes why that will happen, because the positions and the heights of the hi-hat, it remains the same. It doesn't change. So that's why occasionally it's the best way to do it is put it forward.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that's why that hi-hat will give it a clobbering. So
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, listen, all of these microphones are awesome, and the types of microphones are important, but really the deal is the microphone placement, because that is the very first kind of acoustic to electric transduction is what it's called. And if those aren't in the proper place, if you'll notice, like all of these microphones are placed specifically right where Nick hits the actual drum itself. You can see it's pointed right here, smacks the center of that. These are pointed right where he hits stuff. And for me, that is kind of the best sounding place, because the drummer knows that that's the best sounding spot of their tom-tom. Nick knows that. And so we place the microphones pointed right at it.
Yeah,
Why would I do
absolutely.
anything different, right?
Yeah, and
I know.
just to clear one thing up, people, you know, contrary to belief, the best sound out of the drum is not necessarily when you hit it in the middle.
Right.
Contrary to belief, some people go, well, I couldn't hit the middle of his drum because his cymbal's over. Well, it is over there, and I don't hit the middle of it. You notice the stick marks, they profile the cymbal. Now, sometimes I do catch it.
Sometimes.
Don't be agreeing.
Sorry.
Sometimes, so I'll come round, and the worst thing is you catch it underneath the cymbal. You go for it, and the next thing is the sticks flying through the air. All of a sudden, you just got the one. And if you notice all the marks on all of the drums, they're not in the middle of the drum.
And so
There's
we
a total
point,
different resonance. Yeah, there's
yeah,
a
we
different-
point our microphones at
Yeah,
that.
but so
Yeah.
that's where Ken's going with this. So that's a good thing, boys and girls, for you when you're doing even if you've got a 3 or a 4-piece kit, or whatever it is to find out and use the same position, and then get your sound engineer will go, well, I like the sound where it is over there, and you use that same position every time, and that gives you that consistent attack for the note. The tuning of the drum is important as well. So, you know, if one's up and down, it's going to have a different attack to it. So it is important, isn't it, where you place your microphones.
The last thing, are the overheads.
Now
these are important.
Now, how much percentage-wise would you say the drum sound is from these two guys?
Wow, I would say for me it's a higher percentage than most,
Yeah.
and here's why. A lot of engineers use overheads as cymbal microphones. I don't. I use them a little bit more studio-ish, would say, and I like to capture the whole drum kit with these.
Yeah.
I want the toms. I want the snare drum through it. And so, geez, I don't know, maybe 50%?
50%,
of your sound are these two microphones, and then the rest of it are the individual stuff. So
Condenser mics?
they are
Okay.
large diaphragm condensers. A company called Mojave.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, it took me a long time to find an overhead mic that I really liked, and about 6 years ago, I found these, and they're just amazing. It's a Mojave FET 201. Developed by the same guy that makes ribbon microphones for guitar amps. His name's Royer. And they're just, I don't know, there's something about them. The cymbals aren't splashy, and your drums are captured so nice through them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been using them for 6 years now, and I won't use anything else.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Is it the same microphone? We have one extra microphone. We haven't actually missed it because we're getting to it now.
Yeah.
This is on my ride cymbal, at the back of my ride cymbal. It catches, because I do a lot of ride on the bell and bell playing, so we want to kind of enhance that. And so I know some of you are moan, oh, it looks like a tin can. Actually, Harry calls my snare a biscuit tin.
Biscuit tin.
I don't know. I mean, you know, he's my boss. I can't get my own back about his bass sound, can I? So we have another mic. Is it the same? It's a
same microphone.
Okay, lovely. So,
same microphone.
And that is positioned. I think we
Behind
maybe had
the cymbal, and so that it can capture the bell and
bell,
this.
yes, and this
this
area,
part
yeah.
where you play is super important too.
So as a good point where you pointed that out actually. So years back, my stick marks were up here.
Aha.
Right? And what happened was I used to play to get more dynamic out of my cymbal, I'd play it almost flat, you know, on this area of the stick.
Oh, wow.
Right? But as I've got a little older and more refined, should I say, I can't play down here now.
That's great.
But we still do a lot of bell work. I still come up and sometimes I'll play it here. And 9 times I play it 9 times out of 10. So I'll play it up there where I used to play it on the right. Because what happens is you've got more percussive sound out that ride. So that's where the most clobbering comes from. But Pooch is enhancing, gives me a little bit more extra warmth behind that cymbal, rather than having it over the top like you were saying. These two really capturing the tonality of the full kit. It's an acoustic instrument, boys and girls, right? We can't be keeping, if you have it too close, it chokes the sound. If you have it too high, you're picking up all the rest of the bits and pieces. As it happens, moving on from the mics, we do have another element which is electronic, which are the triggers on the shells. Which is, now, well, I'll just explain this very brief. I know this is getting a bit long-winded, boys, but you asked for this, didn't you?
You asked for it.
So, when we first got together, I said to I don't like triggers. I don't like dampening. Now, triggers are what were incorporated within the microphone to open and shut the diaphragm. Is that right? Is that a fairly good? Well, not so much the diaphragm, it was electronic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a threshold.
Yes.
And so I said, I don't want none of that. He said, I've got the perfect solution. And then he discussed what we're doing.
This is what we're doing.
Right.
So if you notice, there's some cables on the bottom here that have I don't know if you guys can get a shot of it, but they have little black dots that are
here's one over here, look.
Adhered to the shell of the drum.
Yes.
Those are actually transducers like microphones, but because they are mounted to your shell, they actually act faster than the microphone itself when we're using gates, for instance, on your toms. So I don't do heavy gating on your toms. In fact, when you're doing a fill, pretty much all your toms are opening as you do
Lovely.
it, right? But this helps me
Control
to
the-
control it.
yeah.
Because so what it does is it sends an electrical impulse signal to a gate that's in my console that I then can control when each of these microphones open up. Okay, the traditional way is to use the microphone itself.
Yes, yeah.
To have that setting, but because it's a transducer that's mounted to the shell, it's faster
Really,
and therefore
yes.
opens quicker and gives all of the attack and all of the good stuff.
I let him do that.
You did.
I did, because leave the gate open, let the horses run.
Yes.
But the problem. Yeah, okay. Ideally, when you tune, there's 9 tom-toms in total here. I mean, this one's got a lot. Right. That's the note that's in this drum.
Yep.
Now, if I've tuned it slightly wrong, this. You come over here and this one's going woo, woo,
Making noise. Yep.
or this one, and that one up there goes wee. It's a sympathetic harmonic,
It is.
which is that's what I call it anyway. Now, whether that's right or not, so the gating negates.
I like it.
Did you
It
not?
negates. I got it.
It negates. Hello, Don. We got Don behind the camera over here.
Yes.
Shake it. Say hello, mate. Lovely. So, this is where you get more control over the actual acoustic resonance coming back off your drums. At the minute, the way they're tuned, there's no real sympathetic harmonic going on. Sometimes you can go up on a tuning on a drum, and it just all of a sudden all this you hit the bass drum and they all go wee.
Yeah.
So it's good to have it, to be able to control
Yeah.
that resonance without changing the actual drum sound itself.
That's right.
Which
So
is
you pointed
important.
out something earlier that's really important that I think drummers and sound people lose perspective of. This is a drum kit. It's an entire instrument. It's not
Absolutely, yes.
individual instruments.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
an instrument
Yeah.
in itself, the whole thing. We individually mic things, and the problem with some sound engineers make is overemphasizing a tom, for instance, or overemphasizing the kick drum. Then that's not what it sounds like as the kit.
Yes,
right.
right,
So
yeah, exactly.
with this many microphones and this much stuff going on, those triggers kind of help me to make it feel cohesive. The
Yes.
whole thing
Yeah.
cohesive. So
And you certainly do that,
Yeah.
mate. Really.
Well, thank you.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, boys and girls. Ken makes this band. Everyone that's seen this band on this tour and prior Legacy tour, the Legacy of the Beast tours, have all complimented
Aw.
the sound. Really, I mean, we are really all of us, not just myself, are all so glad you're part of this family.
Thank you, Nick.
Because
That means a lot.
And of course we have a wonderful monitor, and we've got 2 monitor engineers.
We do.
Yeah, we've got Stevie, takes care of Steve Harris, and Gonzo. He's been with us
Gonzo.
a long time, and we got. Hang on,
You can do it.
I can't get the whistle going for him. Spud Tater McCarthy on.
Kevin Tater McCarthy.
Yeah, Kevin. He's a these 2 guys have known one another forever.
35 years.
He's 35 years. So we managed to have this incredible pair of sound engineers, wonderful people working for us. And mate,
That's so
really,
nice. Thanks, Nick.
I mean, really, my drums, it's just massive. I mean, now, you do have to have a great drum set. You can't.
The sources have
you
to be
can't-
good.
Excuse me. You can't polish a turd. Just remember that. Bear that in mind, boys and girls. I've got my own mic as it is.
Yeah.
So no, but if you can make a less expensive drum kit sound, depending on what heads you use and stuff like that. That's another story.
Yeah.
But when you've got a great tapestry already, and the canvas is set, and then Ken just puts his oil. He puts the oils on, and he puts it. No, really. So
That's
thank
nice.
you so much,
Well,
mate.
thank you, mate.
Really.
That means a lot. You know, I am first and foremost a fan. I grew up listening to this band. A little bit younger than you, but I.
Oh, you had to rub that in.
No, but I grew up listening to this band. So when I mix
Yeah.
you guys, I mix them as a fan. Like
Yes.
I mix you guys so, you know, I
What
think.
you feel.
Yeah,
you know,
like
yeah.
when I was a kid, oh, that fucking snare drum was
Isn't
awesome.
that selfish, boys and girls?
selfish.
Is that just wonderful? I love that. That's so good.
Anyway,
oh, I
thank you.
got to say this. When Ken first came in and we were at rehearsals and he recorded everything at rehearsals and he works on getting the sound prior to us coming out in these bigger stadiums and stuff. But he dances.
I do.
All the time.
I do.
You know, and I came, he's got his
love it.
headphones on. In Split, when we were rehearsing with he's in there, and I go, it's Pooch.
Yes.
And his legs going, and his bum's going like this. I mean, he's dancing.
Yeah. 'Cause I love it.
And
It's so much fun.
that's just...
I love what I
you know,
do.
he's probably pissed off with me for telling you
No.
that. No,
No.
but it's lovely. And thanks so much, mate.
Thank you,
really.
man.
You do
Thanks
make
for
me sound so
having me.
good.
Yeah.
And I'm so... We're blessed, and I'm so gracious for you, mate.
Thank you.
For being with us. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
Boys and girls, this has been
A lot of
long
fun.
part 3,
A
but
long-
you asked for it.
you asked
and
for it.
You can't do this, you can't
Yeah.
explain this stuff.
Sorry, I'm sweating too. It's so
Oh,
hot
man,
here
it's-
in
yeah,
Barcelona.
it's-
It's like ridiculously hot.
I'll be sweating later.
Yes, you will.
So thanks very much, boys and girls, and hopefully watch your space. We may do a part 4, but it will be something quite different. Yeah. We'll see you later. All right, mate?
All right.
Well, bye-bye, everybody.